When you're trying to wire up a switch in your guitar or replace a switch, it's really helpful to understand how it actually functions. That way you have no question as to what you're hooking up and why. So today I'm going to explain the three-way toggle switch, the Switchcraft style, which you'd find on a Gibson Les Paul. This is part 4 of a series, Guitar Wiring for Beginners. And if you're completely new, I'd recommend going back to the beginning where I cover ground and hot, I cover potentiometers, tone versus volume. But if you just want to figure out the switch, then stick around here. I'm Dave with Stringing It Together, and let's dive in. So there's a lot of different kinds of switches. There's the three-way toggle switch, which you'd see on, say, a Les Paul, which is what I'm going to cover today. It's going to look something like that. You can also have a 90-degree angle, but it functions the exact same. You can have a short shaft, which will accommodate a smaller bodied guitar. All three of those function in the same way. Or sometimes if you have an import guitar, it'll be a three-way switch, which it looks the same on the outside, but on the inside, it'll be a box toggle switch like that. And then it gets more complicated with the three-way or five-way switches. Ibanez, the Stratocaster, Telecaster, the three-way toggle switch, and you're going to have a little knob sticking up that will give you more options for pickup combinations. But today we're going to focus on the most simple one, which is the three-way toggle Switchcraft Gibson Les Paul style switch. And the reason I'm picking this is because the most simple to explain, and then in the following video we will get into the more complicated ones. So let's jump into my high-tech simulation software here. So I'm going to keep this really simple, and I'm only going to include the pickups and the output jack and the switch. Because when you're looking at wiring diagrams, sometimes you get lost in the mix of what's going where. But really, for the most part, when you're wiring up a switch, it's going to go from the pickups to the switch. Now that's not the case all the time. Sometimes you will go to the switch after the volume, but the majority of time it's pickups to switch. Okay, so here's your toggle Switchcraft switch here. And this is what it looks like from underneath. So you're looking at the bottom this way. So these little lugs here, you have 1, 2, 3 on one side. That's 1, 2, 3 here. And then these two are right here, which are actually stuck together. So if you're thinking of the most simple switch that you could have, it's just an on-off switch. So on is connected, off is not connected. That's like a light bulb. Now in terms of terminology, this can be helpful when you're buying switches or figuring out what to use. That simple switch is called an SPST switch, which means single pull, single throw. Now don't worry, it's not that complicated. All it means is pull is the number of circuits, so single pull, there's one circuit, and throw means the number of connections that switch makes. So there's one circuit, single circuit, and there's one throw, there's one connection that it's making, on or off. Okay, so if you ever see that, don't worry, it's not that complicated. Or if you see DP, DT, it just means double pull, double throw, so 2 of each. And don't worry, all of this information that I'm telling you, I've created a cheat sheet that you can download for free down below, and that also will go back and cover all the potentiometer stuff that I covered. So go ahead and download that. It's absolutely free to put in your email, and don't worry, I won't send you a ton of emails. So let's get back to it. So I moved it around so you can hopefully picture this a little bit better. So this is the switch, and this is what you would see on the outside of your guitar. So if you pull it up this way, it would be the neck pickup. In the middle is both pickups. And if you pull it down, it's the bridge pickup. So if you pulled this towards yourself, then you would see this bottom here. So you have 3 lugs here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you have 2 on the bottom here, which have been bent together. Now, the ones bent together are, sometimes when you buy it, it'll be bent together, and sometimes it'll be 2, and you want to bend it together yourself and solder it. The 2 together are going to be your output. Now, sometimes this can be a little bit different. Sometimes you can have the 2 inputs on the outside, and then the output in the middle, and the ground here. The easiest way to tell is the ground is always going to be 1. It's never going to be the 2 bent together, and it's typically thicker. So again, if you're worried about which one is which, it's all in the cheat sheet that you can download. So basically, what you want to do is obviously have control over which pickups you're going to use. So this one here is the input for the neck. This one here is the input for the bridge. And then this output goes to the hot of the output jack, okay? So the reason this is the most simple switch is because all that this switch is actually doing is either not doing anything in the middle or breaking one side or the other. So again, try to imagine this switch up here. So the switch is either going to be on this side or this side. So in this case, or in the middle. So in this case, the switch is on this side. Now there's a metal plate, which you can see right here, that makes the connection between here to the output. Okay, so the signal goes in this case the bridge, goes in there and then out to the jack. Okay, so when the switch is on this side, what it's actually doing is pushing this metal out, breaking the connection, so therefore you have no connection here and you only have the neck pickup coming in. Okay, now if it's on the other side, so the switch is now over here, now same thing. So it's pushing this metal bit on the other side here out, breaking the connection. So now you have only the bridge coming in here and out the output. So when it's in the middle, again, there's no break in the connection, and therefore the signal is flowing from both of these sides into the switch and back out. So it's a very simple mechanism, and if you really look closely at it, if you have a switch in front of you, then push this one way and you'll see this pop out and therefore breaking the connection. So that's why this switch is the most simple switch that you could imagine. It's basically the same as a light switch, but going one way is off for your neck and going the other way is off for your bridge. So, and don't worry if you're working with a slightly different configuration, because I included those in the guitar wiring cheat sheet down below, which you can download for free. And give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Hopefully it made some light bulbs connect in your brain there. And stay tuned next week where I'm going to cover the three-way blade switch. Or if you want to go back and dive into how potentiometers actually function, then I recommend you go back to the previous videos, which should be all in this playlist. Stay tuned and I'll see you next week.